seems like every few years there's a talented Alabama wide receiver that enters the NFL draft. Back in 2011 it was Julio Jones, in 2015 it was Amari Cooper, and this year it's Calvin Ridley. Ridley is a 6', 190-pound receiver who has been the star of Alabama's passing game ever since he came out of high school. He was a top receiver in the 2015 class and looks to be the #1 receiver drafted this year. In my opinion, this is all based on Ridley's speed and natural ability to create separation. He can burn defenses deep and has the quickness underneath to work a full route tree. With these abilities, he'd fit well on a team like the Cardinals, the Ravens, the Bills, and even a team like the Cowboys. They all need receivers, and he can step right in and become a starter. As a prospect, Ridley is a great route runner. He can create separation with his stems, and he has the speed and quickness to be a plug-and-play receiver in any NFL offense. While he's clearly practiced his footwork, he isn't the best at facing press coverage. He can get moved with contact, and he needs to play stronger through his release. Also, his hand fighting downfield needs to be improved on as well. Based on these traits, I gave him a late first-round grade in this draft. Looking at his film, Ridley played on a run-first offense with Alabama. However, this didn't stop him from being their most targeted player and him developing into one of the most pro-ready receivers in this class. Nick Saban trusted Ridley to use his natural ability to separate in order to get open for his quarterbacks. There is a level of subtlety to the way he moves, and he understands how to use his quickness to cleanly get out of his breaks. Now, while Ridley can beat pretty much any cornerback in a one-on-one situation when they're playing off coverage, he struggles to gain separation against press. If he can't figure it out, I feel like offenses will be forced to use him in motion or in the slot in order to maximize his value on the field. As I was going through the tape, I feel like Ridley was held back by his quarterbacks in pretty much every game I watched. There were numerous occasions where he had the defense beat early off the snap or even had a full step down the field and they didn't look his way. Even when he was the main target on the play, underthrows and poor ball placement was common. As a receiver, I feel like based on his skill set, he would do really well in a timing-based offense. I also do think he'd fit well in a vertical passing game based on his ability to create separation down the field. Moving on, and as a run blocker, Ridley isn't the best at the point of attack. He can get a bit lazy with his technique, and he won't sustain a block for the entirety of a play. I think part of the issue is simply his size and strength at under 200 pounds, but I also don't think he has the desire to be a top-tier blocker either. I could be wrong, but there were so many plays where he was straight up beaten or he barely engaged with the defense. In my opinion, I would much rather use him on the backside of plays so he's not responsible for making any key blocks until he proves otherwise. Finally, and for Ridley's pro comparison, he reminds me a lot of Pierre Garcon. They're roughly the same size, and Garcon has turned into an excellent receiver in the pros. Now, one of my favorite traits of Garcon is that he's an angry finisher whenever he has the ball in his hands. I don't think Ridley possesses that same trait. However, Ridley was a much more refined route runner, and I feel like with more strength, Ridley can still be a very productive player in the NFL. Well, that's all I have for you, and before I end this breakdown, I want to list my top 3 receivers. Currently, I have Ridley as the #1 receiver on my board and the only player with a first-round grade. The next 2 players, DJ Moore and Anthony Miller, are both very talented players who I think would be great picks at the start of the 2nd round. If you want to see my grades on the other 8 receivers I've scouted, make sure you follow the link to my Patreon account. Just a $1 a month donation gives you access to my full big board and all my grades so far this season. Thanks again for watching, and you can follow me on Twitter at Samuel R. Gold.